We are live. We are live. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Jack from Pittsfield. Maz, what's going on? What's going on? All right, so we got to get everybody over here. We are live for book club. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are reading Ed Mylett's The Power of One More. Ed Mylett's The Power of One More. And I just want to make sure I believe so we're good. We're live because I see Jack. So as you're logging on, let me know what city, what state, and or what country you are logging in from. It is so good to see all of you guys getting on here right now. Letitia, hey, what's the weather like where you guys are? It was 80 plus degrees here in Georgia today, right? It was 80 plus degrees. I'm bragging, I'm boasting that it was 80 plus degrees. But it's so good to see all of you here on the live. And let me see. Let me make sure I think I did tag. I told everybody that we are live, right? I did. I put it in my chats that we are live. We live. All people have to do is click that link and then hit. It was 40. Wait a minute. 43. Look, you celebrating over that 60. 43. Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Right? No, we don't. Ooh. 40. All right. So hold on, you guys. Let me see. I don't know why it seems like it's taking a minute for people to get on the live today. So let's go and make sure we generate some more traffic over to YouTube. Let's get this here. Let me go ahead and add the link so that people know how to get on here. 1 second. So that people know how to get on here. Because there we go. All right. So as you're logging on, y'all know what to do. Let me know what city, what state, and or what country you're logging in from. And then we can get started. 42 here, right? I was in Florida. Oh, it was 89. Yeah. Now you're back at 43. Heat wave. He said a heat wave. I'm cracking up. Heat wave. All right. So we're actually excited because we are journeying through our book. We are now at the One More Try, which is chapter 3. For those of you, what's up, Sally Isaac? What's up, Mary Powell? She said it's 43 there. Well, it was 82 degrees here today. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day here in Georgia. And we are reading The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. The Power of One More. You don't even need the book. So welcome. If this is your first time, I am going to read this to you guys. Listen, let me give you the invite link. If you want to join me in the room, in the room, then let me give you this link. You can join me in the studio by getting on that link right there. You can join me in the studio by getting on that link right there. If you desire to join me in the studio, you've had an epiphany about something that we're reading or talking about. Good evening, Sean Dunnigan. Cheryl Davis said 26 here and 5 new inches of snow. No, 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 no. We're praying for you. But woo, I haven't seen snow in a couple winters now. So I'm very grateful that we don't have any snow here in Georgia. Like they said it's like once in a blue moon that it actually snows here in Georgia. So one more try. Let's go ahead and read, you guys, so that we can get as much of this book in as we can. The last time we were together, you guys, we read and we realized that we read a lot about The Matrix. And I saw that there were some people that actually went to watch The Matrix because we read about it and there were references used in this book. And Mylett is doing a very, very good job of causing us to want to think differently. And so now we're going to read One More Try. Chapter 3, It Ain't Over Till It's All Over. That is a quote by Yogi Berra, right? Yogi Berra. It ain't over till it's over. It ain't over till it's over. Y'all type that in the chat. It ain't over till it's over, right? So if you ever want to achieve anything meaningful in your life, the strategy you must master is one more try. One more try doesn't run in an isolated path in your life. It's an overarching concept that links to many of the other strategies in this book. One of the core beliefs I hold is the importance of compounding. Compounding takes place when you attempt one more try. Compounding. Compounding takes place when you attempt one more try. Time and time again. When you're successful in implementing a one more try mentality, you'll create and compound more wins for yourself. That's right, Mary. It ain't over until it's over. Let me see if I can add this link over to my Facebook, because this is strange. Normally we've normally got more people joining us. Let's see if we can share this to Facebook. Yep, and let them know we are live, right? We want them to know we are live. We are live. Let's go ahead and get some more pages outside enjoying this beautiful weather. All right, let's get people live with us because book club is live. Okay, it ain't over till it's over. So this says, when you're successful at implementing a one more try mentality, you'll create and compound more wins for yourself. Each of those wins creates an incremental advancement toward your goals. You stack them on top of each other to produce significant long-term changes in your life. Here's an example. Here's a simple example that illustrates the point. When you were a child, the first time you tried to ride a bicycle, you didn't do so well, did you? You probably started with training wheels, going slow, and with your mom and dad by your side to steady you. As you climbed on your bike day after day, you got better at learning how to balance. That's so prophetic right there. You got better every day at learning how to balance, how to pedal and go forward. Eventually, those training wheels came off, and slowly but surely, you started to ride away on your own. Not long after that, you were whizzing up and down the streets and sidewalks without a care in the world, and your life had changed forever. Until you understand and embrace the fundamental life-changing power of the one more try, you won't fully understand why it's essential to try and make one more call, do one more set in the gym, meet one more person at a convention, or learn one more skill. One more skill. Let me go back over that. Until you understand and embrace the fundamental life-changing power of one more try, you won't fully understand why it's essential to try and make one more call, do one more set in the gym, meet one more person at a convention, or learn one more skill to put your head and shoulders above everyone else. When you act and do the same things as everyone else, you'll get the same results as everyone else. When you implement a one more try, mentality, that's where you'll find your greatest successes and your most significant personal growth. Doing so also will give you more confidence than your competitors. It's a secret weapon of sorts. Although they may not see it, you'll know you're willing to do more than them. You're eager to make one more try. You're more eager to make one more try than they are. That's a tremendous advantage in your favor. So I said to myself, I haven't been feeling the greatest, you guys, right? But see, when you want to be $1 million earner, you don't make excuses about not feeling well. So because you're not feeling well, I'm just going to not work my business today because I'm not feeling well. Well, I mean, to the point where y'all know that I wasn't feeling well because I was even choking on my live last night. But I still needed to do one more live, no matter what I was feeling like. I've been struggling with my allergies. So if I'm drinking, it's just to keep my throat lubricated so that I can read to you guys. But I went live last night, you guys, and closed one more sale and closed one more business partner. See, too many times we operate in the feeling, in how we feel, and not what we want, not what we desire, but in how we feel. And I chose to not operate in how I felt, because if I felt, here's the reality: I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like having to do any work. I don't feel that. I also don't feel like being broke. I also don't feel like being broke. I'm gonna put the link down here again. So if you want to come into the studio, you're able to get in the studio, and I'm starring it right there. So until you understand and embrace the fundamental life-changing power of one more try, you won't fully understand why it's essential to try and make one more call, do one more set in the gym, meet one more person at a convention, or learn one more skill to put you head and shoulders above everyone else. I sat in that restaurant yesterday, you guys, as I talked about on my live yesterday. I sat in that restaurant and I said, wait a minute, the money is in here. You got to get up and open your mouth, because it's not going to come to you just because you prayed and you asked God for more, or you prayed and you asked God to do something for you. It's just not going to jump in your pocketbook. It's just not going to jump in your pocket. That means you got to get up and do something with the gift that God has given you, the ability that God has given you. So when you act and do the same things as everyone else, you'll get the same results as everyone else. When you implement a one more try mentality, that's where you'll find your greatest successes and your most significant personal growth. Doing so will also give you more confidence than your competitors. It's a secret weapon of sorts. Although they may not see it, you'll know you're willing to do more than them. You're eager to make one more try. You're eager to make one more try than they are. That's a tremendous advantage in your favor. This isn't exactly a new idea. All right. Confucius understood the battles that go on in a person's mind when he wrote this. The man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't are both right. Confucius knew that an individual executes to the level of what he or she believes in themselves. So I tell people all the time, and they'll be like, I'm sorry, Nina, that I didn't. No, don't apologize to me. Apologize to yourself, because you didn't think better of yourself. You didn't think you deserved to have abundance. You didn't think you deserved to come in first. You didn't think you deserved to earn a whole lot of money. You didn't think you deserved to get your body fit. You didn't think you deserved it. And because you didn't think you deserved it, you should be apologizing to yourself. Because Confucius knew that an individual executes to the level of what he or she believes in themselves. So what we believe in ourselves is not what we say. What we believe in ourselves is how we act and operate. I see the chat is quiet today. Oh, the chat is quiet today. Let me just go on and read them. Confucius knew that an individual executes to the level of what he or she believes in themselves. Confidence fuels your belief that you're worthy of making one more try. Many people like to think of themselves as overachievers. If you can call yourself an overachiever, you're declaring that your standard practice is to go above and beyond what's necessary for achievement. To be an overachiever, you must wholly embrace one more try. Let's type that in the chat. One more try. When I was in high school, we sang a Whitney Houston song called One Moment in Time. Give me one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be. When all of my dreams are a heartbeat away. The answers are what I will see. Give me one moment in time when I'm living in destiny. I'm telling you guys, one more try. Don't go to bed tonight until you give it one more try. You reach out to one more person. You make that one more phone call. You do that one more push-up or sit-up or jumping jack. One more, right? So when you act, here we go. Let me go. So many people like to think of themselves as overachievers. We read that. To be an overachiever, you must wholly embrace the one more try. There is another critical component to this. Even though you may be willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do, you must be intentional and look for opportunities in everything you do. So we got to what? Be intentional, and look for opportunities in everything we do. So when I sat at that restaurant yesterday, Tamara Dunn, when I sat at that restaurant yesterday, Sandra Hayward, when I sat at that restaurant yesterday, Charlene, Mary Powell, when I sat at that restaurant, Shammy, Tashana, Sean Dunnigan, right now, Carol Jackson, when I sat Kelly Daly at the restaurant, Jack, Cheryl Davis, Sally Isaac, when I sat at that restaurant, Letitia, I could have just sat there and decided I was going home. But instead, I was looking for the opportunity at even being in the restaurant. These are people I don't know. I just got to get out of my comfort zone and go introduce myself. One more try. So when you look for opportunities in everything you do, that mindset must become second nature. That mindset must become second nature. That's right. I made a decision, and that concept must become second nature to you. When you practice this strategy long enough, it becomes a reflex. You don't think about it. You just do it. But because you will not give yourself permission to just leap, to just jump out of your comfort zone, you keep staying in a place where Confucius said that an individual executes to the level of what he or she believes in themselves. That's what he said. You don't think about it. You just do it. So some of you are putting your toe in the water and you're wondering, well, why am I not having success? Because you're just sticking your little big toe in the water. You're just sticking your big toe in the water. You won't jump in. All you're doing is sticking the little big toe in the water and you're like, oh, that's cold. But the one thing that I know, Tashana, about jumping in is that all of a sudden you'll get in, and after the immediate shock or the cold is gone, after that immediate thing is gone, guess what happens, Letitia? All of a sudden the water doesn't feel cold anymore. All of a sudden that thing doesn't seem scary anymore. Do you think that I wanted to go talk to everybody in that restaurant yesterday? No, I wanted to just turn around and go home. I told you I wasn't even feeling well. I haven't even been feeling well. I wanted to turn around and go home. I wanted to just go home, Tedra. I didn't want to walk around the restaurant and go introduce myself to people. Nobody wants rejection, but I'm never going to get a yes if I'm not willing to go after the no's. Let me go on and sip this to lubricate my throat a little bit. I'm never going to get a yes if I won't go through the no's. So we don't think about it. We just do it. Or even on an even more fundamental level, you must believe that you can create a one more try life for yourself. This is like confidence. But it is more about creating a higher level self-esteem. Many people don't buy into themselves enough, and the limitations they live with come from within. Your limitations are coming from within, not from external sources. Your limitations are coming from within. They are not coming from external forces. All right? Being your own worst enemy is something that I've seen a lot. So I don't buy into this limiting mentality, and I don't want you to either. It doesn't have to be that way. You guys, I'm not going to buy into this limiting mentality, because it doesn't have to be that way. I am not going to allow anybody connected to me to buy into a limiting mentality because it doesn't have to be that way. I learned a long time ago that we all have the wisdom inside us to create the future that we want for ourselves. We all have the wisdom inside of us to create the future that we want for ourselves. You just don't want it. You just won't do it. You gotta want it. Nina, I want it. I don't ever want to be broke another day in my life. I want to see my product in everybody's refrigerator. I want to see my products in everybody's refrigerator. I want to see everybody connected to me that needs a health transformation get healthy. I want to see everybody connected to me, and I know that it can happen, and I believe that it can happen when you get out of your own way, because the limitations are from within. They are not external, and we all have the wisdom inside of us to create the future that we want for ourselves. Most of us simply don't tap into the rich vein. Come on, y'all. Type that in there. Tap into the rich vein. Tap into the rich vein. Tap into the rich vein. For whatever reason, we block that part of our identity and accept something less. Stop accepting something less and tap into the rich vein. Sometimes we accept a lesser life because we weren't given a good role model to follow, or we've suffered through adversity that's made us mentally fragile. Right? Mentally fragile. We wither under criticism and refuse to dig deeper to find the mental toughness and grit that we didn't even know we had. Let me tell y'all something. I hope y'all don't think that my friend and mentor gives it to me all soft and frilly and woolly and flute. And I know, Nina, yeah, I understand. First of all, I don't go to her with no foolishness. I don't go to her with I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't XYZ. No, when I'm not feeling well, she got to tell me, go lay down. Would you please go lay down? Can you work from the bed? Because I don't allow that to stop me. Why would I accept lesser in life? Why would I accept lesser? I'm a believer, right? How many of y'all are kingdom believers? See, I don't want to talk, not a Christian. That's religious. That ain't even in the Bible. We were never told to be called Christians, right? So that's religiosity. But where are my kingdom believers? Because if you are a kingdom believer, then you cannot tell me that you okay with believing that you deserve less and not pressing forth toward the mark of the prize of the high calling. Tap into the rich vein. Somebody, right? We either under criticize. So here's the deal. Criticize me. I don't care. It doesn't matter what you think. Why would I wither under criticism? Can't nobody, you ask for a coach, then somebody going to tell you right from wrong. Like, you probably shouldn't post like that. You probably should do X, Y, and Z. And I find people just keep doing whatever. They don't care. They don't care. They really don't want a coach. And then they get their little feelings hurt and wither under constructive criticism that is implemented to help you grow and get better. No one can grow and get better if you don't face the flaws that we've got without condemnation. But no one's going to get better if we don't face the flaws that we've got. How many times are you going to start? Oh, this is the one. This is the one. And then as soon as something happens, here you go again, withering. Living beneath your means, not even thinking about how great you are, that you're powerful, that you're full of wisdom, that you are capable. Type in I am capable. Type that in the chat. I am capable. We need mental toughness. Here's something that you should execute, that should excite you rather. Here's something that should excite you. When you do break through, the places where one more try takes place are a lot less crowded than when you run with the pack. Did y'all hear that? When you do break through, the places where one more try takes place are a lot less crowded than when you run with the pack. Most people give up. They don't do the work you're willing to do, so they won't get the results that you'll get. But they'll join you in business thinking that they're going to get your results, but won't do what you do. Rather, when you move to this new place where one more try is the norm, the law of averages is now working in your favor. The law of averages is working in your favor. So there ain't no way you could keep sowing seeds and not reap a harvest when the law of averages are working in your favor. Simply stated, more tries equals more successes. More tries equals more successes. Busting open the piñata. One more try is so important that I want to give you a few examples to drive home the point that often in life, it feels like we're making no apparent progress, even though we are. My favorite of these is what I like to call busting open the piñata. Life is like taking swings at a piñata. It's also an excellent metaphor for how to understand the impact of one more try. There's no external evidence that we're making progress, and that's why people often quit before getting to that part of their lives where the candy comes out. The perfect example of this is from a few years ago when I went to a birthday party for a 5-year-old. At the party, there was a piñata. And one by one, the kids put on a blindfold. They stepped up, they were given a bat and spun around and then told to swing at the piñata. The first couple of kids grazed the piñata. They were disoriented and didn't know which direction to swing in. Even with some well-intentional help from the fellow partygoers, they did no apparent damage to the piñata, or so it seemed. I hope that you're staying. I hope that you guys are paying attention. Or so it seemed. See, just because they swung or grazed the piñata doesn't mean that there wasn't something happening or taking place. People just couldn't see it. Or so it seemed. Those kids got a little frustrated when nothing came out. Right? Let me pin this link because I know somebody gonna want to come into the studio, right? Those kids got a little frustrated when nothing came out. What they didn't realize is that inside, the piñata was slowly breaking down. I wish I could see y'all right now because somebody ought to throw their hands up in the air, right? The compounding effect of pounding on that piñata, even if it seemed like the piñata was holding firm, was making a difference. Every time a blow landed, those kids made invisible progress, growing ever closer to the ultimate goal of busting it wide open. All the kids strict with anticipation after each thump. After a few more whacks, they sensed the paper mache beast was weakening. Still, the piñata would not break. When all the children had taken their swings, Mom blindfolded the birthday boy, and he stepped up for his turn. That little man reared back, and with the mightiest one more try you're ever going to see, he busted the piñata wide open. You know what came next? More than a dozen children scurried to gobble up all of the treats and the goodness that had fallen from the piñata. Was it that one shot that busted the piñata wide open? Absolutely not. It was the compounded accumulation of all those hits that contributed to achieving the goal of getting the candy. Invisible progress. Too many people quit their businesses. They quit their workouts or their relationships before the candy comes out. Although they're making progress, it doesn't always show up externally. My advice to you is to keep hitting the piñatas in your life. Whether you can see it or not, you're making more progress than you might think. Is this starting to sound like your life yet? Anybody, is this starting to sound like your life yet? Because it should. We all swing a lot at a lot of piñatas, and early on, we don't generally bust those piñatas open. I told you at the beginning of the book that you were a lot closer to realizing your goals and dreams than you may think. And this is a perfect metaphor of that concept. Just like the children, you're making invisible progress in your life, Unfortunately, most people don't stick around long enough to realize the outcomes from that progress. However, when you know that you're moving forward, even when you can't directly see that you're moving forward, you'll stay more focused on that process and tasks to accomplish your goals. Invisible progress is more than having faith. It's knowledge that you've acquired because your efforts produce results on other things that you've attempted in the past. When you do bust open a pinata, you get an undeniable rush. You've experienced it many times. You know exactly what that rush is. In fact, the harder it is to bust open that pinata, the more intense the rush is. As we keep swinging, anticipation builds, adrenaline kicks in, confidence grows. You may even get a little angry as you dig deeper and you refuse to yield. Uh-oh. Anybody want to come into the studio and talk with me? You may even get a little angry as you dig deeper and refuse to yield. In your pinatas, the candy that tumbles out can be your bliss. It's your financial freedom. It's falling in love with the special someone in your life. It's landing the dream job you've always wanted, all because you didn't give up. You gave it one more try, one more swing, one more call, y'all, one more rep, one more inbox, one more follow up. And over time, those efforts compounded until you got precisely what you wanted. You must tune out the naysayers. Type in tune out the naysayers and all of the negative distractions to focus on busting your pinata wide open. You feel disoriented at times. Doubt may creep into your mind, and you may think that your goal is not worth it until you learn how to win those battles. You'll never enjoy what your pinata holds for you. If you stay with it long enough, you will enjoy the fruits of your labors, and everyone else in your circle who sticks around and supports you will enjoy those things as well. Take your swings, as many as you need. Get that candy. There are a lot of pinatas waiting for you to bust open and enjoy. All right, so we're only at 6:30. We got a little more we can read. All right, anybody want to come into the studio with me to have a little conversation? Anybody want to come into the studio with me? Let me put the link right here again. I think you have to copy that into your browser so that you can join the studio, or you may even need to copy it into your Facebook Messenger, and then you'll be able to join the studio by clicking the link. All right. Let me know if you guys want to come into the studio. It would be great to see somebody. Let's talk about where we are right now with what we've read so far. This is so good. This is so good too. This is so good too. But this book is so good. Okay. Anybody? All right. Let me see. I'm going to see if somebody comes up into the studio. So we're going to keep reading. I want to try to get through. Let me see. Oh, yep. We can get through this next part, this next story. So let me know if you're coming up into the studio, right? Have to go out into the deep. Yes. Yes. You got to burn the boats too. And burn the boats. Burn the boats. So a father, a daughter, and the power of one more try. I want to tell you what happened on April 26, 1998, and why that date means everything to me. I was relatively new to the business world, and I was scheduled to give a presentation that night to 40 people on my team. The RSVPs didn't materialize the way that I had wanted, and by the time the presentation rolled around, only 8 people showed up. I was crushed. Been there, you guys. I've taken business trips to other states where I had to get on a plane. Only to get there, I had to rent a car and nobody show up, or one person show up. So I know that crushed feeling, right? He says, I started to doubt whether this career was for me. He says, I began He said, I started it out with, I began to think maybe there was something better out there, something else that I was meant to do with my life. I was frustrated and discouraged, and I didn't know if I should keep doing this or not. I sat down and had a talk with myself. It's as honest as I've ever been. Some of y'all got to get honest with yourself. Jack, I see you in the studio. You got to give me a second and I'm going to bring you up, okay? He said, as honest as I've ever been. So I just sit down and had to talk with myself. It's as honest as I've ever been. Had I done everything that I could for as long as I could? So I want you all to ask yourself that question. Have you really done all that you can? Have you? Have you really gone as hard as you can? Have you really done it? Have you really put in your mind, this time I'm not going to quit? This time I'm not waiting on anything to happen. I'm going to make it happen. Had I done the right things at the right time, I really needed to decide if I had put forth my best effort to make a go of it. I sat down and had a talk with myself, and it was honest, he said, because I was candid with myself. The answer was no. And it's okay. Listen, it's okay. But you got to decide. Because he says that's a hard thing for a proud man to admit to himself. Hard, but necessary. Because he says, even more important, I had to acknowledge my shortcomings. Until that point, I had followed a pattern of quitting when things got hard or embarrassing. He says, until that point, he followed a pattern of quitting or when things got embarrassing. I found it easy to pull the plug, too easy. Right? Too easy. Instead of walking away, I dug my heels in and decided I was going to give this one more try. I was going to empty my tank and do everything that I could to make sure that I have given my very best to be my chosen best to my chosen profession. Retreating and giving up were no longer an option. Somebody type that in the chat right now. Giving up is no longer an option. Retreating is no longer an option. Type that in the chat. It's not an option. I set my old limiting identity aside. So we got to set that old limiting identity aside. Right? And launch a new version of yourself. That come to Jesus talk with yourself. Somebody need to have a come to Jesus conversation with themselves right now. That refusal to give in and my decision to go the distance by tapping into one more try changed my life forever. Refuse to give in to the urge to quit. Refuse to give in to the urge to quit. From that night forward, my efforts and my mindset turned into a business life that has paid me hundreds of millions of dollars. Did y'all see that? Hundreds of millions of dollars. There's one more example I want to share with you. Fair warning, there's a proud parent moment ahead. Those of you who are moms and dads will completely understand where I'm coming from. As I write this, my daughter Bella is 17. Wow, where did the time go? Much to her credit, she recently decided it was time to go out and get a job. Bella applied at a local pizzeria in town and had a great interview. They were ready to offer her the job until one final question tripped her up. They asked her if she was 18 yet. Since the pizzeria served beer, it was a minimum age required, and she didn't meet it. Bella called me right after she left the interview. She was dejected, and when she shared the news, I was bummed as a parent. When your child hurts, you do too. But that's not the end of the story. A half an hour later, called again. The first words out of her mouth were, "Dad, I got the job." Talk about somebody else getting candy from the piñata. Your daughter busted open. I can't even begin to tell you how elated I was, and I was curious. After a disappointing setback, most teenagers would tuck their tails between their legs and head home. But as she was leaving the pizzeria, Bella noticed a small cafe next door. Instead of passing by like 999 out of 1,000 people would, job hunting teenagers might do, she went inside and started talking to the hostess. One thing led to another, and it turned out that the cafe was looking to hire someone, and that person did not need to be 18. Bella met with the manager and was hired on the spot. She was hired on the spot. That sounds a lot like me being in the restaurant, deciding that I was going to go around to every table, give out my cards, introduce myself to people, and walked out of there sold out of all of my 16-ounce juices. That's how my beautiful daughter, using one more try, took a potential defeat and turned it into a victory instead. I'm hard pressed to come up with a more perfect example of how pushing yourself and using one more try can work in your favor. It would have been easy to give up. Giving up is easy, ladies and gentlemen. Giving up is easy. Giving up is easy. Giving up is easy. Retreating is easy. Quitting is easy. Not getting started is easy. One more try can work in your favor. It would have been easy to give up, but because Bella made an effort to talk to one more business, she got a job on the spot. And it changed her life, y'all. Perhaps the coolest part is that she did it all on her own, like father, like daughter. It's one of the best proud parent moments I've had in my life. All right, let's bring Jack up to the stream. What's up, Jack?
Hey, there's so many things in this that come to mind when I was, today was not that bad of a day and nice weather, even though it was 42. I got to walk and thinking of the power of one more. You think of, well, I'm going to just do this many push ups or this many jumping jacks or walk this much or doing messaging. And sometimes I feel overwhelmed, but I did my 100 jumping jacks. I did over 30 minutes of walking. And then sometimes limitations come up, but you just got to go past those limitations and find time after that. I had a bus today that if you even got your drink of water, it was a distraction. I'm like, what? Come on.
Wow.
And so each day I find a day of doing one more, because if I don't do that, I'm going to settle back into some old routines that I don't want to get back into. I have to step up. And it's just like asking my kids about, what are you doing extra to get ahead? Extra on the homework or extra. Just with the morning book club, morning Zooms and this, you're going to keep on doing it until you cannot do it wrong.
That's good.
And I was thinking of that. My daughter failed her first road test, and she said she bumped the curb with the car, so that failed the parallel parking. And I was thinking of that. Keep on doing it until you cannot do it wrong. I said, that is something to do with life.
That's
And
strong.
I would just end it with that, because that was just boom.
Wow. That's powerful, Jack. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for coming into the studio. You always show up. Thank you so much. Wow, that was powerful, y'all. He said, keep doing it until you can't do it wrong. That's so powerful, to the point where, like, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm not even doing it wrong anymore, right? At some point, something is bound to break. All right. Thank you so much for coming into the studio. Come on, we need another person to come into the studio before we get off of here, right? So 3 ways that one more try can turn. 3 ways that one more try can turn into an overachiever. Your path to becoming an overachiever is linked directly to one more try. The more you try, the more you achieve. As Jack just said, you won't even get it wrong anymore, right? Your path to becoming an overachiever. So here are 3 overachiever principles to consider. Extremity expands capacity. Extremity expands capacity. All right. Your most significant gains don't come from places you're already at. How many of us would agree with that? Our most significant gains don't come from the places that you're already at or where you've already been. Your greatest gains and successes happen when you push yourself to new places and new limits. You create an extreme condition compared to what you're used to. And when you do that, you expand your capacity for success. Your new level of capacity becomes your new norm. Your new level of capacity becomes your new norm. Somebody ought to type that in the chat. My new level of capacity becomes my new norm. Make it personal. My new level of capacity becomes my new norm. That is so powerful. Powerful that my new level of capacity becomes my new norm. And as you become more comfortable pushing yourself to extremes, you become more confident because you know what waits for you on the other side. If you're worried about pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion, don't be. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get your rest, but I found that most people are tired from too little activity instead of too much activity. Oh, most people are tired. Let me read that again. But I found that most people are tired from too little activity instead of too much activity. I got to take a picture of that. I got to take a picture of that because that part is so powerful. Most people, hold on. We got to take a picture of that. Most people, did y'all just hear that? Most people are tired from too little activity instead of too much activity. High degrees of activity produce energy. High degrees of activity produce energy. I can't stand it when I'm around people that are always tired. What are you tired from? What degrees of activity produce energy, and you feed off this energy, much like batteries. If you don't use your energy, you will tend to lose it over time. So when you're looking at people that are always tired, always, it's because they don't use their energy. So when people are always like, Nina, you always got so much energy. Because I use it. But when you use your energy, that produces even more energy. When you use your energy, it produces even more energy. When you produce more energy, you can go to a more extreme place. Once you've been to that place, you're able to see it, feel it, touch it, and understand what that new level of capacity is to you. High degrees of activity produce energy. High degrees of activity produce energy. I'll get it. High degrees of activity produce energy. All right. So understand the new level of capacity. Those of you who know me those of you who know me now know why I've adopted this motto: max out. For 30 years, I understand that maxing out of your life creates a new extreme level. Type in max out. We ought to max out. Everybody needs to get anybody around me. This is the philosophy right here. Max out. Max out. Max out. I've understood that maxing out your life creates a new extreme level. That new extreme level creates a new capacity and the place where you will grow and achieve the most results. In other words, when you max out, you will also max up. I gotta highlight every single word on this page. Boom, 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 Boom. Max out. Because when you max out, you will also max up. Max up. When you max out, you will also max up. I got to tell my husband not to throw that box away. Hold on 1 second, y'all, so I don't throw my straw away. Max out. All right, max out. When you max out, you will max up. Max out, everybody. Max out. All right, so winning is a numbers game. Type that in there. We're almost done for today. Winning is a numbers game. Winning is a numbers game. Winning. Come on, Robin Owens. Let me get you up in here before I. Ow! Robin, you're on the live.
Okay, I'm trying to get some light because my light just went out. Every time I try to do some stuff, act crazy, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Anyway, all of this is right. There we go. All of this is right. All of this is what's going on. I don't even have any elevate. For those of you that's not part of the bus, I don't know why you're not. You need to come out and then you'll know what that means. But I'm acting like I am. And that tired he's talking about, okay, that's fine. But I know what I'm going for. And the push that's here, the support that's here, there's not another place I've ever been in my life that is there, that is like this. And every time I think it's there, you and Tanisha do something else. And I'm like, what? Okay, and just go again. So you just have to keep going. I can't stop. If I stop, okay, what if I've been in 100 trillion other things.
Me too.
What if I had stopped? I wouldn't have done what I'm doing here, and I've never done what I'm doing here. I'm telling you, when you came and said this amount a day and this many people and go get another one, I'm like, okay. But when I put my head down and just go, she asked, what's my number? My number is high. My number used to be 10. Now it's 10 times 10 times is high. But why is it high? Because I quit. I slowed down. I stopped. I didn't keep doing what I was doing. So if I got to contact 100 people to get a person, because y'all are not going to give me a trophy. That's not going to happen. And I know that English is all broke up, but no, we are not letting that happen. And for that to not happen means I just can't stop. So when he said about the pinata, when he said about it's everything just ties together. I am amazed how everything just ties together. I'm just amazed.
It does. But how about that? Max out to max up. And you know, it's amazing because I watch people with low energy, right? And I don't always feel like I want to be energetic. Does that make sense? Like I don't walk around like, oh, I want to be energetic. That's not, but I know that energy is a currency. And I know that I cannot vibrate low. Like I don't even like that feeling of vibrating low. You know what I mean? But you ever get around somebody that's got like low energy and then it just like zaps everything out of you, and they're always tired because they won't just raise their frequency. They won't raise the vibration. And so max out is all I can say. He says maxing out of your life creates a new extreme level. Like I'm ready now for this extreme level because I've had some good levels, but extreme, like that's a whole nother thing right there. He says an extreme level. So I know you're excited because I said when Robin come on here, she like, now hold on, wait a minute. I'm so proud of you.
I thank you. I'm proud of me, and that's not something that I even say, but I'm proud of me. And again, I'm so grateful to be in the position that I'm in and I know what I asked for. I didn't know it was going to look like this, but I know what I asked for. And this is what it takes to have what I asked for. So I am eternally grateful, thankful to just you, like I say, both of you. And You've been saying it. It's simple. You've been saying keep going. You've been saying it's a numbers game. You have been saying it since I've known you, and for the success that you have had, that means you've been saying it since before I knew you, which means there's the proof. So I don't know what we're looking for, what we're analyzing, why we won't move. I don't know what any of that is, but you all
Well,
freed
we
me
know
when
what
you
it is.
said, don't worry about the no.
Yeah, we know what it is. Confucius said that an individual executes to the level of what or he or she believes in themselves. That's what it is. A person
It's the
that
truth.
doesn't move doesn't want it. They don't. Because when you want it, have you ever seen a baby that wants something that's out of their reach? They just gonna keep fighting to go get it, or a dog, like our dog, when she really wants something, she's gonna go for it. When you really want something, there is nothing, not even fear, will keep you from going after it. But as Confucius said, he said it here. It says that an individual executes to the level of what he or she believes in themselves. So oftentimes we want to help people, and you're like, well, what can we do to help them? Nothing. Nothing. You cannot do anything to help to make a person believe in themselves. Okay? There's nothing that we can do. Nothing. You can love on them until they believe, but oftentimes you got to leave them people behind and hope that you can go back and get them. All right, let me go ahead. I'm going to finish this last little paragraph. Thanks for coming in the studio.
Thank
Woo! That was powerful. Winning is a numbers game, y'all. If you want to be an overachiever, you must create better numbers for whatever is important to you. There it is. For whatever is important to you. Much of your success will come down to your commitment to executing basic tasks again and again. Much of your success comes down to your commitment to executing basic tasks again and again and again. Well, Nina, how many times do we have to send this message out? Again and again and again. How many trainings we again and again and again. Success will come down to your commitment to executing basic tasks again and again and again. You must learn to do simple things well. You must be obsessed with perfecting processes repeatedly until you create big enough numbers to give you the wins that you're looking for. Ladies, and I'm going to say it again. Let me say it again. If you want to be an overachiever, you must create better numbers for whatever is important to you. Much of your success will come down to your commitment to executing basic tasks again and again. You must learn to do simple things well. You must be obsessed with perfecting processes repeatedly until you create big enough numbers to give you the wins that you are looking for. Boom. Overachievers don't think in terms of quality or quantity. They think in terms of quality and quantity. It's not or, but it's and. Tiger Woods doesn't just go through the motions when he practices hitting golf balls from 2 or 4 hours a day. He is obsessed with repeatedly hitting each ball the right way with the same backswing, same stroke, and same follow through each time. If you watch The Last Dance, a documentary about Michael Jordan, and I totally suggested that all of you guys watch that. I suggested everybody go watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, a documentary about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. You saw how hard Jordan pushed himself. You either got on board with Michael's level of practice and play, or you didn't last very long. Jordan didn't land in the record book by accident. Success is not accidental, you guys. Success is not accidental. This is not my book. I know I say it all day, right? This sounds like my words in this book, right? So Jordan's level of practice and play or you didn't last very long. Jordan didn't land in the record book by accident. He understood that you must put in the work and rack up the numbers when you practice so that you can rack up victories of all kinds when you play. The highest achievers always condition themselves, excuse me, to incorporate one more try into their daily routines. As I mentioned, there's less competition when you rise to that level, and your victories will be bigger and better in all cases. Get uncomfortable, people. Perhaps you've coasted from time to time in your business. Maybe you haven't applied one more try to its fullest advantage. Everybody goes through peaks and valleys, but you shouldn't wallow in those valleys for very long. Get up. Get up from where you're at. Stop wallowing. Oh, we had to move again. So what? What are we complaining about? Were you making any money before? Were you making any money? If you can complain about the fact that we moved again, were you making any money before? I'm not stuck. So what? So what? And now you're making money. And now you're losing weight. And now you're building. So what? So perhaps you've coasted from time to time in your business, right? Haven't applied the one more try to its fullest advantage. Everybody goes through peaks and valleys, but you shouldn't wallow in those for very long. You'll know when you're not putting forth your maximum effort. You will know when you are not putting forth your maximum effort. You'll know when you're not doing everything you can to make you and your business as successful as possible. You can hide from yourself sometimes, but you can't hide from the numbers. The numbers are black and white, reflection directly related to your effort. The numbers are a black and white reflection of directly related to your effort. It's easy to compare month to month or year to year sales volume, calls, phone calls, and other metrics. You should have no trouble keeping track of how often you go to the gym, how many sets and repetitions of weights you lift, and how many miles a week you go for a run. You can hide from yourself sometimes, but you can't hide from them numbers. You can't dominate when you don't crank out better numbers than your competitors or when you're measured against your past performance levels. You cannot dominate. You cannot dominate if you don't crank out better numbers. Who's ready to dominate? Dominate. You cannot dominate if you don't crank out better numbers. Dominate. Woo! When measured against your past performance levels, nothing creates everything. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Genesis 1:1-3. God said, "Let there be light." Some theologians interpret Genesis as God creating the whole universe out of nothing. He just spoke in existence into being out of total nothingness. I happen to be one of those people who also believes this, and I go into greater detail about my faith as a part of one more prayer in chapter 18. This belief is known as creatio ex nihilo, and the answer of how the universe came to exist. Creatio ex nihilo teaches matter is not external, but had to be created by some divine creative act frequently attributed to God. Here's how that applies to your life. We gotta get done. When you push yourself and empty everything you have inside of you to the point you have nothing left, that's when everything will be created. When you empty yourself, you create room for new experiences, goals, and efforts. Bruce Lee echoed that sentiment when he said, "Empty your cup so that it may be filled." I'm not talking about driving yourself to physical exhaustion. You should never put yourself in that state. What I'm talking about is always doing one more. When you do, you're emptying yourself out. When you have nothing more to give, you have reached a scale of ex nihilo, and you're ready to fill yourself up in a higher capacity. Making the power of one more try work for you. Life won't hand you opportunities. Say that again. Life won't hand you opportunities. Life will not, won't hand you opportunities. I got all of this, y'all. All of this. You can all of this. All of this is all how I can't. Life won't hand you opportunities. You need to be the type of person who goes out and creates opportunities for yourself. Don't wait. Be aggressive and understand that one more try does not have to be perfect. It simply needs to be attempted. One more try doesn't have to be perfect. One more try doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be attempted. I hope y'all heard that. When you hide from the one more try, all you're doing is disguising your insecurities. Even when you don't get what you exactly what you want. When you attempt one more try, the next time you try again, you're not starting from scratch. You're going to be starting from a new level of experience that you can leverage to increase the odds of a better outcome. As you implement one more try, you'll also create new levels of capacity. These levels are where you'll find most of your satisfaction. The more often you attempt one more try, the more often you'll win, because winning is frequently a numbers game. If you execute well and give your maximum effort, also keep in mind that you'll create new possibilities to fill up your life. When you make every possible attempt and empty your tank, the key to one more try is to be intentional. You must have the strength and the focus to take the steps that will drive you closer to where you want to be in life. This is not always an easy thing to do. It requires quiet determination and stay the course. Or as Mary Ann Radmercher once said, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is a quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. This is so powerful. You guys, we finished the whole chapter 3. We are moving on to chapter 4 next week. One more, and the 5 principles of time management. One more, and the 5 principles of time management. I hope that you enjoyed today, you guys. I want to get off of here because I know that we have another training at 8 o'clock. But this was so powerful. And I am so grateful for all of you that didn't find it not to join us so that we could grow together. Personal development is important because you're never going to earn more than you learn. So you guys, don't you ever forget that no matter what's going on in your life, I want you to remember that you can live again. You can laugh again. You can hope again. You can dream again. And you most certainly can bling again. Listen, I want you to share this with someone else. Let them know that they need to be here on Mondays, or that they can go to my YouTube and listen to the replay, that this book is life-changing, you guys. It is life-changing. All right. We'll see you guys later. Good night, and God bless you all.